Everyone? All right, we continue with the lecture about decision making, and we reached the point of disadvantages or drawbacks of group decision making. The problems were very time consuming. Committees meet rarely. All right, soon if you continue, you'll also have to move, okay? Not kindergarten anymore, okay? Not little babies, now big students. Minority decision, okay? Groupthink and ambiguous responsibility. Okay, so when are different decisions more appropriate? So, when are groups most efficient? And under what circumstances? If you want a fast decision, you choose individual. So you want a quick decision, you don't want to have a group, get them together, argue, and decide. When decision must be quick, you always make it by individual. You choose somebody and make it. Number two, you have more efficient use of work hours. Sometimes a big boss can quickly decide in 1, 2, or 10 minutes what to do, or in a day. If you have a committee will take 10 people. These 10 people can take one meeting, a second meeting, a third meeting, 2 months, 3 months, God knows how many. And the problem is that it's going to eat a lot of work hours. It's just going to take too many work hours to get a decision that the manager can take 10 or 100 times less time. It's less time. So a manager can take it in 1 hour, and a committee could easily take it in 50 hours or 100 hours. So very, very efficient use. So when you focus on the speed and efficiency, you choose individuals. When you want accuracy, when you need accurate, you choose a group. When you need accuracy, when you need decision is also more important, you choose a group. Also, when you need more heterogeneous representation. So, when you want more diversity, you don't want, for example, a European deciding something on an iPhone when the biggest market for iPhones today is Asia. You want to think about Asian culture, Asian mentality, the Asian market, and all sorts of other things. So you choose a group when you need more diversity in making a particular decision. Also, it's effective when it's more time consuming. So when you need more time, when it's a task is huge, you need a lot of information, and one person's going to take many, many months, it actually could be a lot easier to form a group, and the group will come quickly. So actually, when the decision needs a lot of time, it's very time consuming, a big group can be very helpful in making the decision a little bit quicker, okay? Also, a group is helpful when you need creativity and more creative decisions. Sometimes decisions have to be creative. Sometimes, not always, not every time. But when you need more creative decisions, usually the group is better. Because when you have 5 or 8 people, they have different ideas, different approaches, different ways of doing things. It's more likely to get more out of the ordinary decision. Your decision could be special. Yeah, it could be also about design. Design about shirts, design about cars, design about a whole bunch of other things. So when you need creativity, groups are more appropriate. And groups are also usually more effective when accepting a final solution. You got a group, the group's got to decide on a particular textbook or whatever that might be. Usually, when it comes to accepting a decision, people don't like to accept the decision of one person. But if it's a big group, so this is, from the previous slide, legitimacy. The group decision is easier to accept and is more legitimization. Okay, so decision making by groups has, and we already just began 5 minutes ago, a bunch of problems like groupthink and all sorts discussed in the 5 major problems. There are ways to avoid some of those problems. And one way is called brainstorming, okay? Again, these are ways to make it also a little more creative. Brainstorming is a standard, classic technique where you encourage everyone to make a proposal without critically addressing the proposal. So, in a brainstorming session, everyone is making proposal, but nobody is allowed to discuss other people's proposals. You don't discuss. All you do in a brainstorming is get more and more and more and more proposal. You do not evaluate, you do not analyze, you do not criticize, and of course you don't, of course, make any decision. All you do is just bring in more ideas. So brainstorming is about attracting more creative ideas. All right. Nominal group technique. I already honestly forgot what this nominal group technique is, but you also got electronic meetings. In an electronic meeting, it's actually similar to the nominal group technique. All you do is encourage people to write electronic messages, and when they write the electronic message, you do not see who wrote the message. So when you don't see who wrote the message, you don't know who's on the other side. You don't judge the message by the person. It could be the youngest kid on the team, who's a 22-year-old kid on the team, and he can have a great offer. And you can also have the oldest member, who could be 60-year-old, he could be in the company for 30 years, he could be otherwise dominating the group. But if it's electronic, others don't see who's writing. So all they do is they critically think and evaluate the particular offer without judging where it's coming from, who is proposing it. So the key is that it is anonymous. So big way to make group work is by introducing the anonymity. When someone's making a proposal, you don't know if it's him or if it's her. You don't know if it's the new guy or the old guy. You just evaluate on what they do. In electronic meetings, another little advantage is people can be in different rooms, they can be in different cities, they can be in different countries, and they can electronically nevertheless connect. They don't have to be in the same town. They don't have to be in the same city. They don't have to be in the same room at the same time. They can be in different towns. It's just fine. So these are some of the ways to make it more creative, to avoid the group thing. The group thing is one of the big problems. The other one is take too much time, too long to schedule. People start talking and discussing and all the other things, and sometimes they get a 1-hour meeting, out of which 10 minutes focus on the real work, and 50 minutes just talk about all sorts of other stuff. And I've been in a major, big corporation. I worked from 2000 till 2004, and I've been, again, in hundreds of meetings like this, and 3/4 of the time is usually wasted. One big waste is just waiting for people to come. Some people come 5 minutes, 10 minutes late. Then what happens is exactly the same thing what happens here in class. 5 people begin, 3 people coming late, they come in, they start talking, they disrupt, now you need to repeat for them again, waste more time. So big problem with these meetings with a lot of wasted time, okay? Let's see what else we got. And discuss some contemporary issues and modern decision making. One of the big issues is national culture. I already mentioned when you're in another country and usually the administration is local administration, let's say Taiwanese administrators in a Taiwanese university, or maybe here, Thai people in a Thai university, sometimes they ignore foreigners. They take their own national culture and ignore other alternatives. That happens quite a lot. Okay, so it influences the way in which decisions are made and the degree of risk decision makers will take. So you have to be aware of national culture, and you have to be aware that national culture can make decisions a little distorted. They don't like too much risk, okay? Or they want to keep everyone happy. Or they ignore foreigners on the team, okay? So that's a usually typical problem when the locals ignore the foreigners. Foreigners after 3 months or 6 months get frustrated, and after a year they decide to leave the university. Very, very common. I work in many international universities, and the biggest problem there is turnover of foreign faculty. And a lot of times the problem is not money, not salary. The problem is about how things get done, in the sense that locals say, but this is how we get things done here, okay? Not realizing that what they do, because they've done it for dozens or hundreds of years, doesn't make it a good practice. It's actually very easy for a foreigner to see that, oh, this practice is not good, because he's seen a bunch of other ways of doing things, okay? So when somebody's seen a different way of doing things, they say, oh, yeah, I've seen it. This is not good, and this is a little better. Oh, this is easy for the professors, but hard on the students, okay? Or they say, oh, yeah, this is done, it's easy on the students, but they don't learn anything, not good for education, okay? So in this particular case, ignoring national culture can be a problem in business. And the other one is creativity, okay? Today, in modern business, for practically all decisions, you need to be creative. Now, again, it's very tricky. When I'm teaching you guys accounting, I don't need to be very creative, okay? There's not much need to be creative on asset and liability, on debit and credit. And there is not much creativity on balance sheet and income statement, because this is like centuries old stuff and you need to learn the basics. A little bit of creativity, maybe about a PowerPoint slide, maybe about this, maybe about that. So not always you need creativity. If you're in a restaurant and you got a standard meal to cook, there is no creativity there. You gotta cook it standard. Creativity may be when you have to add 1 more or 2 more or 20 more meals, so that your menu is not 20 meals but 100 to choose from. Then maybe you need creativity. But in modern business, you most often need some form of creativity. Sometimes it may be product design, sometimes it may be marketing, sometimes it may be, I don't know what, many different ways. But today, the issues are culture, creativity. Let's see what else. Okay. So, what is creativity important? It enables you to appraise and understand a problem more fully. All right? This is very important about product design. How to design a camera, how to design a laptop, how to design an iPad or an iPhone or whatever it is. Including about cars, including about fashion, okay? Creativity could be designing a university campus for activities, for electricity, for lighting, for education, for sports. So for a lot of times in business, whether it's for cars, whether it's for production and factories, you need to understand better if you're more creative. And the opposite is true. You sometimes need to understand it well if you want to be more creative. For example, people with little technological skills and computer and internet skills, they cannot make creative internet or web solutions. People with good computer skills are very good at using technology, the web, and all the other things for education. The example where need a little more creativity is thinking about a problem in accounting which is good enough that you can use with OpenBook, OpenNote, Open Internet, Open iPad, Open everything, and working with your friend. It takes more creativity to design such a problem than just give you the standard copy-paste multiple choice quiz, right? So here's an example. Multiple choice is usually now well known to be a poor way to examine people. It's not a good way. And the main reason is that it eliminates thinking from the student. It eliminates creativity. But the question is, if it's so bad for students, why professors love it? Why they like it so much? And the answer is simple. It's easy. They take the test bank, they say copy paste, print out, the exam is done. It takes 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 minutes to design multiple choice test. They just say question number 1, 3, 7, 11, whatever, copy paste, it's done. And then for grading, it is even easier, okay? They gotta say 1A, 3B, 5C, and so on. They just circle, 7 out of 10. So, multiple choice takes 1 or 2, 3 minutes to design, and it takes, for 50 people, maybe 20, 30 minutes to grade. With the open questions, the professor actually has to read what you write, has to understand, has to critically evaluate. It's too much work, too much trouble, okay? You don't need that. So, usually professors do what's easy for them, also happens to be a little easier for the students. Multiple choice is great for cheating, all right, 3B, right? 5C. You know, usually the way it works is one says 5, the other one says C, the other one says 9, B, right? So, but the point is that multiple choice does not take any creativity. It's good for, it's called dumbing down the young generation. It makes the young generation dumber, okay? It does not take any creativity. Now, making a new exam requires creativity. Designing a new problem requires creativity. Making up a new exam requires creativity, okay? So, when you're teaching economics for 5 years, you want to create a problem every time and a question every time, and it does not repeat from previous years. Every time the question is different. It takes creativity to do that, okay? All right, you can see the problems that others can't see. So, creativity allows you to see problems that others can't see. So, if you're a creative person, it's very easy to see what's totally wrong with multiple choice questions. But if you're not a creative person, if you're not thinking critically, analytically, okay, if you're not creative, There's nothing wrong with it. Just say circle, 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 quick, easy, done. Okay? No thinking, no creativity, nothing special. So, it allows you to be, again, the key words here are creativity and the other one is thinking critically. One of the biggest problems today in modern day education is that it just kills both. It kills student creativity and it kills their analytical, critical thinking. It makes them, in Europe, we say like that. They don't think, okay? They're like machines, like robots. Just memorize and spit the answer. But that's no good. No good. The idea of education is not simply knowledge. The idea of education is thinking, being able and developing your brain, okay? Because university cannot give you the knowledge for everything, cannot prepare you for everything, okay? You wouldn't know everything, but you would need one most important skill, and that is the skill of thinking. Thinking, again, creatively and critically, okay? And this is the skill that you have to develop, and this is the skill that you need, and you will need in your life about everything, okay? All the other stuff you can learn. So, this is why creativity is so important. This is why, and of course, critical thinking. You should try to develop. Just memorizing PowerPoint is no good. Isn't going to make you any better. Isn't going to help you in anything. Yeah, you're going to pass the exam, but after the exam is over, then what? The answer is then nothing. Okay, not much. Memorizing PowerPoint is no good. You need to learn to think. Okay, that's the most important skill. Okay, and finally, it helps you identify all viable alternatives, okay? If you're creative, you can quickly, oh, we can do this, oh, we can do this, and we can do this, we can try this, we can say this way. If not, you just know only one way, and you do things in exactly the same way, and you don't change things, okay? And sometimes it doesn't work. Now, this I was explaining before is the most common cause for business failure. 80% of businesses fail for the same reason. They try either a bad idea or a bad approach, and without thinking, they keep trying something that doesn't work in the hope that it will work, but for some reason, if the approach is bad, it's never going to work, okay? So the most common problem for businesses and business failure is simply that businesses don't think critically. When they have a problem, they cannot identify the problem and have a good, either critical or creative solution to the problem, which is very important, okay? They just keep trying the same stuff over and over again. Think of it, let's say, in the local restaurants. You got, what, right outside the university, you got 20 little restaurants. 2 or 3 of them, I see, are almost always full. And about 10 of them are almost always empty, little or no customers, okay? Well, they're empty what? They don't like profits, or they're lazy, or what? Well, the answer is, for some reason, what they offer is not good enough. Either it's too expensive, or it is does not fit the taste of students, okay? They need some sort of a creative solution. They need to change the environment, maybe change the table, maybe change the menu, maybe change the prices. They need to make some major or sometimes minor changes in order to attract the students. Because there are plenty of students, but they go to these 3 restaurants. They don't go to the other 5, okay? And if they don't go to the other 5, something's probably fundamental. Maybe just a nice, good music can change it all. Maybe just a nice new table can change. Maybe just the chairs are not comfortable, okay? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe chairs are no good. Maybe the table's no good. Maybe the menu is no good. I mean, they have to think and see and critically. Maybe they just talk to some of the customers to find out why they're going there, but they're not coming to my business. I mean, there are 10 restaurants or 15 restaurants. All right? So, creativity and critical thinking is very important to identify viable alternative. Viable alternative is meaning you change a business to make it more profitable, to make it more attractive to customers. And maybe this is over. Okay, quantitative decision making, you don't prepare, we don't need it, that's too much math. Let's finish for now.